A lot of you have been asking, who are the artists and the bands in the Free Karen Reid album? The thing is, they're all me. I sat here all by myself and worked really hard on all of the lyrics that I wanted to use for each song. And then I researched all the genres to check out the rhythm and the timing for the lyrics. And then I created the music, sitting here at my computer all by myself. And I know some of you are probably sitting there going, yeah, that's not possible. But I'm going to dedicate this video to showing you how it is possible. So let's start with the tools. I've been creating digital art for close to 20 years, probably longer. And one of the first things that I learned was that if you restrict your artistic expression to one single tool, then you're always going to produce the same thing. And so in the digital art space, I would use 5 or 6 different tools, all with different features. When I say tools, they are now today called apps, I guess. But essentially it's the same fundamental process. The more tools you use, the better the outcome, and the more varied you can be with the creation process. So essentially you want to start with your song lyrics. In my case, I generally started with a specific theme that I wanted to write about. But you can use lyrics generators to help you sort of choose your own theme. But I'll just warn you, AI is not near as smart as some people think it is. And that's why I first put a lot of effort towards creating the theme that I wanted to write about rather than relying on AI. And so once you have your general theme for your lyrics and the phrases that you specifically want to use in your lyrics, you can then go and plug it into multiple different songwriters or lyrics generators. And by choosing the same genre in each of the generators, you kind of get a similar rhythm. And then from the results of the generators, you can piece together separate verses and choruses that you like into your final song. So once you have your genre and your lyrics sorted, you can start plugging it into the AI music generators. Again, limiting yourself to just one app limits the variation of your music. For example, the reggae genre on one AI system may produce completely different sounds to the reggae genre on another system. And just like we've done with the lyrics, you can piece together the parts that you like and the riffs that you like, or the intros and outros that you like, into your final track. Many of the song generators out there are free to try, but you'll get better results if you do sign up and at least do a 1-month subscription to write your song. In my case, I have 4 different subscriptions to 4 different apps. In one app, I can upload my voice singing a verse or a chorus, and then upload the song, and it will transpose the voices in the song to my voice. Now, this is probably the most expensive app to use because it does have more tools in it. But your standard lyrics generated music app will basically cost around $10 a month. So at this stage, you've probably got about 5 different variations of the song downloaded, and now you can piece together the parts of the songs that you like into your final track. For this part of the process, I use a couple of different apps, Audacity being my go-to, and pretty much all my YouTube content is pre-recorded in Audacity. It's free to use, and it has a lot of different effects, and also more that you can download depending on the effects that you want. Essentially, I would use Audacity to piece the parts of the songs together that I like. So it may be the intro from one song, the outro from that song, and then the verses and choruses from another song, for example. And to do that, you really need to be able to detect the downbeat so you can match them up. Essentially, you want to cut your song at the downbeats and paste them together at the downbeats. Once you have your song structure pasted together, you can then import it into a music production program. Like I use GarageBand, for example. That's a Mac app, but you can get a similar alternative called Soundtrap for Windows. There's also Reaper, Ableton Live, Fruity Loop Studio, Cubase, there's a lot of different choices out there. But essentially you'll use that app to mix your final master. Again, there's a lot of different tools that you can download for these apps, different effects, different presets, and so on. Now, I'm not going to try and tell you how to mix your final master, because essentially I'm freaking half deaf, basically from too much loud music in my younger years. But you really need to have a very keen ear for finer details to master your final track, which I don't have. I mostly rely on the AI generated tracks to already be mastered, which isn't really advisable, but that's what I do. Once you have your final mastered track, you're ready to make a video. And again, the same rule applies. If you have multiple different video programs, you can apply multiple different styles and effects. I would generally start with iMovie, again a Mac app, but there are Windows alternatives out there. And I'll refer to the Alan Jackson video to explain how I did this, because essentially the lyrics were his words, almost word for word. That wasn't quite the case for the Yannetti song. It was a little bit trickier because he didn't have the same cadence and flow that Alan Jackson had, which made his easier. So essentially I'm going to cut the video track into every single word spoken, and then I'm going to stretch or shrink each word over the music track. And I ain't gonna lie, it takes a lot of fiddling around, but eventually you'll get there. Once again, if you can see your downbeats in your video editor, then you can see where to zoom in or zoom out and create those kind of effects. Once you're done editing your video, you can export it out of your video editor and import it into a special effects type video editing program. And I don't mind admitting that Krusty the Clown, who made that fake AI video of Alan Jackson and Karen Reid, is the reason that I found CapCut. Never used it before, but I did know that a lot of TikTokers had been using it, and I'm not a big fan of TikTok, so I'd never had a reason to look at it before, but it's pretty good. Like any app, the free version is more limited than the paid version, but it essentially works the same as any other special effects app. You drag your track into the timeline and then layer your effects on top of that, and voila, you're ready to go. CapCut also has a cover designer for your thumbnails as well. And I guess if you want to add other effects from other apps, you can do that as well. If you don't have to specifically lip sync your video, you can just use VLC Media Player or any audio player that has visualizations. I'm a bit partial to the milk drops in VLC, but you can use anything you like. Generally, the visualizations will be beat mapped, so they will change with the beat. And of course, you'll get options to download other types of visualizations, depending on how you want it to look. And that's it. That's my whole process from start to end of writing and building an entire album, all by my lonesome. I hope it was helpful, and or at least tells you who wrote the music and who the voices are and all the other questions you've been asking. The best part is, I own the copyright. No one can strike my channel, so you can stop worrying about that.